I don't have a formal outline. I'm not one of these writers who outlines what's going to be in every scene, what's going to be in every chapter. I might be faster if I did.
Once Song of Ice and Fire is finished and that weight is lifted off your shoulders, what are you looking forward to the most? A new writing project, branching out into other media, or perhaps some well-deserved time off from writing?
You know, when I take time off for writing, it's like a couple weeks.
So after Dan's is published, George flat out tells Entertainment Weekly that he's not writing anything until January of 2012.
Well, proportionally, how many pages into book 6 are you?
I don't know. I haven't really counted. Maybe I'm about a quarter of the way done or something like that. I have dozens of other stories unconnected with Ice and Fire that I want to tell. Which ones will I tell by the time Ice and Fire is finished? I have no idea. Whichever one I really want to tell on that date, and that's going to be, 5, 7, 10 years in the future, and I'll be a different person by then. Well, I'm writing very fast because my great fear is that Dave and Dan will catch up with me.
Right. I would think they're getting closer and closer where they're going to need the new material.
It took me like 6 years to do the last book, and they do a season a year, so they're moving like a freight train.
In May of 2015, he talks to his publisher and thinks he can finish Winds by the end of October 2015. That way Winds can be published with the premiere of the next Game of Thrones season the following spring.
The Winds of Winter, the upcoming 6th installment in George R.R. Martin's fantasy series A Song of Ice and Fire, is still months away. With regard to his progress on the Winds of Winter, he said, "I am still working on it, I am still months away." How many? Good question.
Then in early August, he realizes that's not going to happen, and so he gets a second deadline of finishing by the end of December of 2015.
R. Martin was supposed to deliver the Winds of Winter to his publisher over 2 years ago.
I know that was the original deadline, that's what it says here. But I'm reading to you from the Wikipedia page. It also says that Martin, he's failed to complete the Winds of Winter. The series has jumped ahead. It's no longer following the book.
Why is it ending?
I don't know. Ask Dave and Dan when they come through. We could have gone to 11, 12, 13 seasons, but...
Is there anything that you've always wanted to ask me?
Yes, there is something I want to ask you.
All right.
How the fuck do you write so many books so fast? And then write every day. Even if it's only a page or two.
I try to get out there and I try to get 6 pages a day.
But don't just write when you're going to get your Christmas vacation or, when you think you're going to have an uninterrupted 2 weeks or something. Write every day. And nothing makes you a better writer as much as writing. You do hit 6 pages a day?
I usually do.
You don't ever have a day where you sit down there and it's like constipation and you write a sentence and you hate the sentence and you check your email and you wonder if you had any talent? Don't you have days like that?
No.
Is it difficult to have 90 million people waiting for your next word?
Yes. Especially because, a certain portion of them are really impatient and snarky about it. It is what it is. And, I should probably leave right now and go back writing Winds of Winter. It's very important to me to finish A Song of Ice and Fire. I don't want it to be my mystery of Edwin Drood here. I want to finish it, and I still have 2 more books to do, and I want to finish it strong, so people look at it and say, this entire thing is an important work, not a half-finished or broken work. I know some of the more cynical people out there don't believe that, but it is true.
Quote, "I wrote hundreds and hundreds of pages of The Winds of Winter in 2020. The best year I've had on Winds ever since I began it. Why? I don't know. Maybe the isolation, or maybe I just got on a roll. Sometimes I do get on a roll. I need to keep rolling though. I still have hundreds of more pages to write to bring the novel to a satisfactory conclusion. That's what 2021 is for, I hope."
Well, my current plan is to do this story in 6 volumes. It's an extremely long story I want to tell. And finally, you asked a question I knew I was going to get. Do you have an update on The Winds of Winter? It's the same update I've been giving for a long time. I continue to work on it. It continues to get longer and longer. I mean, I was working on it the day before I flew back here for 3 or 4 days, but I was I was rereading some chapters that I'd written earlier, and I didn't like them well enough, and so I kind of ripped them apart and rewrote them. So this is a big project. I've been writing these books off and on since 1971, and I suspect that I will still be writing them 5-6 years from now before I can finally wind up the story the way I see it winding up. It's a big book. I've said that before. It's a challenging book. It's probably going to be a larger book than any of the previous volumes in the series. Well, I am making progress with The Winds of Winter, but it's still not done yet. I think it's going to be a very big book. This one's going to be bigger than either of that. And I think I'm about 3/4 of the way done. I have to finish all that weaving, but it's still going to take me a while. And so,
a few years later,
on the book thing, I'm still editing the Wildcard series. We have some Wildcard comic books that are coming out. I'm editor on those, not the writer. The main thing I'm actually writing, of course, is the same thing. I wish I could write as fast as Bernard, but I'm 12 years late on this damn novel, and I'm struggling with it. I have like 1,100 pages written, but I still have 100 more pages to go. It's a big mother of a book.
Game of Thrones author George R.R. Martin doesn't like fans worrying about whether he'll finish the book series because of his health. In fact, it rather pisses him off. Martin said he finds it pretty offensive when people speculate about his death and how it could affect the book series for A Song of Fire and Ice. He said, "I find that question pretty offensive, so f*** you to those people."
So the second one comes out in March of 2025. They're long.
The really depressing thing is that still may beat Winds of Winter. Who the hell knows?
I'll race you.
So how many? I've been working. I'm 12 years late with Winds of Winter, as we know. I'm just gonna put it right out there. You guys don't have to pester me about it.
Would you be interested in coming back for a sequel to Elden Ring if you're asked?
Well, I can't say too much about it, but there is some talk about making a movie out of Elden Ring, so we'll see if that comes to pass and, what the extent of my involvement was. I don't know. I'm a few years behind with my latest book, so that also limits the amount of things that I can do.
Quote from George. "Unfortunately, I am 13 years late," he said. "Every time I say that, I'm like, how could I be 13 years late? I don't know, it happens a day at a time." He continues, "But that's still a priority. A lot of people are already writing obituaries for me. They're saying, oh, he'll never be finished. Maybe they're right. I don't know. I'm alive right now. I seem pretty vital."
The books. There's always the books, and I'm aware of that. People think but no, I have to get back. I have to finish the books. That's the one thing I'm completely in control of. There's no budget limitations. There's no other, executives on the studio side that I have to please, or other writers with different views. The books are what I'm going to make them, and I think the one I'm writing is coming pretty well, but I wish it would come faster.
Some wags have said online, we got real dire wolves before we got Winds of Winter.
It brought the extinct direwolf back to life, a species that hasn't walked the earth since the Stone Age.
I'm sitting at home. I might have been working on Winds of Winter, one of the screenplay, and suddenly...
Can you talk about where that project is?
That's the curse of my life here. There's no doubt Winds of Winter is 13 years late. And it did not seriously impinge on the writing of Winds of Winter. But people make it seem, my more fanatic fans, as if it's a one or the other, and it's not. One of the HBO shows, I have something else to do. But the two things are not connected here.
I know. Some of you will just be pissed off by this, as you are by everything I announce here that is not about Westeros or the Winds of Winter. You have given up on me or the book. I will never finish Winds. If I do, I will never finish A Dream of Spring. That's kind of true. Come on, let's be real. If I do, it won't be any good. I ought to get some other writer to pinch hit for me. I'm going to die soon anyway because I am so old. I lost all interest in A Song of Ice and Fire decades ago. I don't give a shit about writing any longer. I just sit around and spend my money. I edit the Wildcards books too, but you hate Wildcards. You may hate everything else I have ever written, the Hugo Winners and the Hugo Losers, A Song for Leah, The Dying of the Light, Sand Kings, and Beauty and the Beast, This Tower of Ashes, The Stone City, Old Mars, Old Venus, and Rogues and Warriors, and Dangerous Women, and all other anthologies I've edited with my friend Gardner Dozios. You don't care about any of those. I know you don't care about anything but Winds of Winter. You told me so often enough.
10 years to go 75% of the way through means
that's
that about...
That's depressing. That's depressing. Yes.
Okay, all right. So 3 more years.